No, that's not a typo. I realize how little time I've given myself. Because I generally thought, oh no, I can still squeeze through Seal Palace today. Nope. That's instead to be tomorrow. So the just chatting thing that was supposed to be tomorrow is now today. My apologies. But Memorial Day stuff. You know, I feel like it feels fucking empty at this point. Hella fucking empty. You know, I'm convinced that my mouse is fucked. The double clicking, the double backing out. And let's just say I know what the fuck I'm doing come payday. You know, besides getting more stuff, that's probably just gonna be a bigger backlog. But speaking of that, might as well get into why I specifically want to talk about Steam. As much as I'm going to love Steam, especially since I got a PC, I got a laptop, I've got lots of things that are actually now compatible with Linux. Especially have to figure out how the hell I can actually set it up. Unfortunately, my problems with Steam, believe it or not, are not with most of its services. Barring the fucking, like, the microtransactions side of it with, like, the lotto. And the fucking skins. The knife skins. Unfortunately, this is not a copy seller video. As much as I would love to discuss how fucked it is. What instead I wanted to primarily focus about is, dear God, the amount of games that have come onto the platform since then. Really since around the 2010s, I want to say. And oh boy, the 2010s. I sincerely hope I don't need to remind you that we had such developers as the Brothers Romine from Digital Homicide. You know, the ones that sued Jane Stephanie Sterling for like $11 million because they couldn't take the fact that she called their games absolute failures. Now look at them. Still selling their shit on a completely separate platform. And still salty that they had that lawsuit to begin with. Or they had failed to sue her to begin with. Literally just so they could shut folks like her the fuck up. Or such folks who brought us Guys the Wolf. And folks like Total Biscuit being targeted for that shit. Or oh god, what game was it that he also mentioned? Oh god, there's been a lot. Oh my god, I'm gonna have to double check because I know that he made a video talk about the fucking about the copyright system and how fucked that's been on YouTube. And how he was specifically singled out for his coverage of that game that I'm gonna now have to double check what the fuck it was. Give me 1 second. Day one Gary's incident, that's what it was. It was fucking day one Gary's incident that the game that he covered. And I want to say that was also both that and Guys of the Wolf. He was specifically singled out for his coverage of the game the games. That's putting it very fucking lightly. And that was all during the time, at least for both of those channels cases, during Steam Greenlight. Before we have what we have now with Steam Direct. And I don't know how many people actually remember Steam Greenlight, where the community would vote on which games would actually be put onto the platform. I also distinctly remember that certain games, despite being on Steam Greenlight, just not at all being put on the platform. You had games like fucking Towns, or like I said, DigiHome being Greenlit. All the numerous fucking simulator games that, excuse me, that were clearly aping games like Goat Simulator and Surgeon Simulator. I'm not talking about games like Power Wash or American Truck Simulator. We're talking straight trash. We're talking games like Grass Simulator. Fucking... Was it just... Yeah, it was just Fox Simulator. Fucking... Was one of them just called Destiny Loot Simulator? Like, the one that was clearly making fun of the loot drops in the original Destiny. The fucking little girl simulator that went to Steam Greenlight and somehow got greenlit. I sincerely hope I don't need to explain why that was bad. Please don't make me explain that it shouldn't have. It shouldn't have been on fucking Greenlight in the first place. You know what? Oh, you know, it's probably not even on the platform anymore. But you know what is on the platform since we're talking about Steam Direct? A whole bunch of fucking slop. And we're not just talking e-slop like what we've seen on the Nintendo eShop, which has only gotten worse. And I do mean literally gotten worse because you don't even get like a rating system like we did on the 3DS, like the DSi era. Like the DSi, the 3DS, and the Wii U era. Those had a rating system. We don't get that anymore. Not since they changed how it was in the eShop on the Switch. But again, that's something that's already covered. This time by reruns and a whole 48 minutes of AI generated slop. Just worse than the bottom of the barrel that we used to see on Steam. Unfortunately, even that's reached its way onto Steam. And I'm not just talking about AI generated stuff either. I'm talking the worrying number of games that are NSFW. And we're not even talking like games like Honey Pop that are at least decent enough games on their own. Like, again, AI generated fucking visual novels that is like, are you serious? I wish I could show you examples. Unfortunately, I am not feeling that fucking risque to actually show what the fuck I'm talking about. Lest the VOD gets fucking age restricted. But some of them are just straight up like, again, even just mentioning is probably like age restricted, but if you've seen what goes on in the fucking new releases, if you know, you know. It's no. It's the kind of shovelware you would expect to see on like stuff like Meat and Fuck Kingdom on fucking Newgrounds and shit. Not like an actual product to sell on a digital storefront. And yet somehow, despite that, I would still much prefer to deal with Steam's bullshit than the Epic Games Store with how some of the stuff is still like NFT or crypto related. You know, for the whole two people who are still making crypto games. Or, you know, or NFTs, that's still crypto shit. I would talk about GOG, but like, I think that's like the one platform where I wish I could say I had experience with, but like, I probably should at this point. Especially considering I'm on Linux and Steam pretty much has a way for you to play it with compatibility to Linux. And B, since we're talking about changes to Steam, they've pretty much made it abundantly clear that you don't really own the games that you're buying. Sure, you have a library. Sure, you buy a license to the games that you have, like, you buy. But in terms of like actually owning the things that you're buying, that's sadly not the case. You're not really getting anything in terms of actual ownership. That's where GOG comes in. And I wish I could say, like, I wish I could say more on it, but you know, don't, for lack of a better way, because I actually do like what GOG actually does. The problem is I don't have much experience in it, and I don't know many people that I know of who actually does partake in GOG. Even though, again, I should. Oh my god, this fucking. You can't see it, but the fucking double clicks is. I swear to God, I'm gonna get a fucking new mouse. And I'm gonna see if it's like a hardware problem with the mouse, or if it's just something with the software that is messing with my mouse. I guess this is hardware. Like I said, GOG actually has a lot of stuff that not only that I would actually be willing to buy on that platform if I actually participate in it, partook in it. But you know, it actually doesn't require shit to. Oh no, don't tell me. Yeah, there's only a Mac OS and Windows installed. If I was still using Windows, I probably could have, but no, that's not the case at all. So I'm pretty sure I could still make use of this shit on Linux without it. It's just not gonna be with the launcher, which may or may not be a problem no longer. Regardless, like, I really wish I could like have like a PC platform that actually owns the games, that actually is with the operating system that I'm using. Because sad thing for me, that's I'm gonna have to do a bunch of workarounds. There was someone saying, "Oh well, there you go, using Linux." I was sick of Windows, okay? Fuck Windows. Fuck Windows and fuck Microsoft. That being said, I was gonna mention like why, despite going into what's supposed to be a better system of Steam Direct, it's actually gotten worse. Like I said, the amount of games that release on Steam, the quality of the games that are released on Steam, not just NFW stuff, like just in general. Like, I recall one of the first videos of a game that have released on Steam Direct since the change. It didn't even have an exe file attached to the fucking thing. Like, sure, they had to pay like a fine or whatever, but like, to release stuff on it, but it feels like there's barely any oversight. And to be fair, that's been Steam's problem for a long time. The fact that there's barely that much oversight, and when there is, it's pretty much after the fact. Take a look at fucking Digital Homicide again. Like, how many fucking shovelware stuff did they put? If not just straight up asset flips. It's fucking disgusting. The amount of shit that they just got away with. And were able to retaliate against the quote unquote consumer base. It's fucking stupid. And appalling that it took as long as it took a failed lawsuit for them to stop trying this shit. Kind of. They still went after Steam users, but still, it was better than nothing. It was unironically better than nothing. And unfortunately, Steam had done nothing. And God forbid something else happened to like other developers that were also just asset flips. Like I said, the multitude of simulator games that were allowed to release onto the platform. And yet, despite that, we still get plenty of like fantastic games that are released onto Steam. Shit, to the point where I'm still putting up things on my wish list because there's just more stuff that I want to get and more stuff I want to play. Alabaster Dawn being in, I think it's still access. Yeah, it's an early access, but that's a fantastic fucking game that I want to get. And then there's just bits of like despite how organized everything is, like Steam kind of just has like a queue of games that's like based on the games that you played. One of the games that are based on play Code Vein. Despite the fact that it's not particularly great. And the sequel is more or less the same. It's like, oh, it's an anime Dark Souls. You would think that would actually be good, but it's not. It's not. And that very much upsets me, because you know how much I would have loved to play another Souls-like, by the style of an anime. Like, anime-style Dark Souls. Like, shit. I haven't played Dark Souls or Elden Ring in a long while. Though I still see myself playing fucking Souls-likes and Metroidvania, so why the fuck not at this point? It just gets very upsetting, especially for games that I was looking forward to, like Ember Bay. A game that I fucking kickstarted, mind you. And it's like, oh. My disappointment is measurable and my day is ruined. What's gonna describe my disappointments? Did I mention White Raven? I'm gonna mention it anyway, because that's kind of more or less like a Advanced Wars Fire Emblem type game. But I checked back on it later, on like the latest updates for that game that I kickstarted, and it's not gonna be released until 2028. Like, for a game I was actually looking forward to, and games like that, I was like, oh, I'm waiting indefinitely for something that may not even exist. It's kind of sad, really. But then again, that's Kickstarter, that's Steam. That was something else I was going to talk about at some point later on, but considering the next Just Chatting thing that I do is on the Amazing Digital Circus, since I'm going to be seeing episode 9 in theaters, I was going to save that until, well, next week. And I wasn't going to do sealed palace with how little time I actually would have had available to do stuff. So here I am shuffling things around. This might end up being another short one where I just kind of give like a brief talk about Steam. Because I've had these thoughts in a while that I really kind of wish I had a more nuanced way of talking about this, since a lot of stuff I would have liked to mention is most likely mentioned by other channels. Like Sterling. Total Biscuit, like I said. Most likely Angry Joe. Fucking Kira. Folks like that. Like, all fantastic folks, but like, consider this another one to the fucking pile of folks that talk about Steam and the problems it has. But I think that's kind of just it. I was hoping for something to like to hold off of just chatting, but the topic I was gonna do was kind of last minute in the first place. Again, and the topic that I want to actually delve into that's next week. This is kind of it. And hopefully Seal Palace doesn't get fucking delayed anymore. Hopefully. That's it.